Hi there, Tony here from Days Out Travel. I hope you're keeping well. Today I'm going to talk about tourism etiquette. As someone that has been travelling quite a lot and someone that lives in a major big city, or near one at least in terms of London, I've seen both sides of the equation and I've seen a lot of behaviour that can be quite annoying. So if you are travelling maybe anywhere in the world, I've got 10 tips for you on how to behave and things to avoid to stop annoying any local people. So, number one I have for you is litter. Littering, of course, is a quite unpleasant practice, whether you're at home or abroad, in terms of making a place a bit messy and unpleasant. One thing I found really upsetting actually is when we've gone to certain places and there's been noticeable litter. There's nothing worse. We went to Dubai and went on one of those desert safaris. Sand dunes, absolutely beautiful, but the amount of plastic disposable water bottles that were strewn across the dunes was very noticeable. And anytime we go out on a boat trip or a whale watching or something like that, invariably you end up seeing quite a lot of litter. So please don't do it. Not only does it make things rather nasty and messy for people living there, but also there's the environmental impact too. Number two is expecting, nay, demanding perfection. Of course, we all like the idea of a luxurious five-star resort. Everything's absolutely perfect. That's all well and good, but I think that kind of idea sort of seeped into more mainstream holiday making, whether it's hotels, restaurants, experiences. Everyone's expecting a five-star perfect experience, which is obviously invariably not the case. But the problem with that is that even those small little issues or small problems that crop up then make people either a little bit upset or a little bit angry. I could give a one-star review on TripAdvisor. I'm not going to blame TripAdvisor for that, but I think there's an element of gaming the system or potentially trying to get a freebie by threatening, oh, this isn't right, that isn't right. But ultimately, these people, these businesses, they're just trying to make a living. They're only human, so try and be a little bit more pragmatic if things go wrong, and don't expect perfection because you won't get it. And when you don't get it, don't put a one-star review on TripAdvisor. And what's the point? We want to run somebody out of business, make them bankrupt or homeless. So be a little bit more relaxed and giving and appreciative of other people. That flows into number three, which is if you are expecting perfection and don't get it, don't take it out on the staff, whether it's the waiting staff, whether it's cabin crew, whether it's people in a bar or whatever it is. They're not your own personal serfs, underlings, or servants. They are people, they're just trying to do their job. If something goes wrong, it's more often not beyond their control. So don't take out anything on them because it's not always fair. Number four is photo overkill. I know that may sound hypocritical as someone that travels a lot, does take lots of photos, and does this sort of stuff on the YouTube. But it does really, really grate a lot of people, whether it's locals or other tourists, when it's a photo shoot. You're standing outside a monument, a great view or something, and there's a whole host of people either with their sticks, selfie sticks, with all these sort of poses. I think it's the yeah, yeah, and all that. Just take the picture, take one picture, and that's it. That's all you need to do. So that's a really something that I please do avoid it because it just so frustrates me. So you get to the point where you don't even have the chance to see things. I remember we've been to New York a couple of times. I hadn't actually seen the bull down at Wall Street. So go down there, boom, just couldn't actually see it because it was surrounded by people all taking selfies. So don't do the same with the Mona Lisa and all that kind of stuff. So please don't be those sort of people. I know you've got a great Instagram account and all that, but sometimes just appreciate the vista, appreciate the experience itself. Why do you need 100 photos of yourself posing in front of the Eiffel Tower? Number five is either walking too slow or blocking pathways. This is certainly common, and I understand people are exciting new city and they want to sort of take in the sights and the sounds and all this sort of stuff. But often those places, it's a working city. People are trying to get home, they're trying to get to work, they're trying to do things. So if there are a lot of people either walking really slowly or all blocking off pathways, it can cause delays and irritations, and it's not the best optic. So I would probably say be aware of your surroundings. If you are walking across, say, London Bridge and you want to take a picture of Tower Bridge, they're two different things, just to remind you. Don't just suddenly stop because usually there's someone walking behind you trying to get to work. So if you stop, they bang into you. Yeah, it's annoying. So please be aware of that and just mindfully sit your surroundings and either take a step back, glance over your shoulder, and just give everyone a bit of space. Number six is not doing the basic research into customs or traditions, or even worse, just completely disregarding them or trampling all over them. Each place is different, and there's probably lots of unwritten rules about how you should do things, how you should act, and various bits of etiquette. These range from pretty mild, so let's say London Underground, even though there's tons of signs that says stand on the right, people still stand on the left, which blocks the escalator, which means people can't get up and down. So that's annoying. There's other things that become, slightly more offensive. In Thailand, for example, the royal family is very respected, held in very high regard, and obviously on the currency. So if you do anything on the currency, like step on it or scrunch it up, or throw down any of the notes, that's going to be offensive. Likewise, in the Middle East, obviously generally a more conservative type of culture, they're perfectly fine with people in beachwear on the beach or by the swimming pool, but don't start walking up and down the souks or through the middle of the city centre in a bikini, because that's going to cause problems and a lot of offence. The other thing would be, especially for workers and people that actually have to earn a living, make sure that you do know when you need to tip. So not tipping is really can be really difficult for a lot of people. It can be people living, paycheck to paycheck. A special little note out, not all of them, but Australians and Chinese tourists, from what I hear from when I go to the States, they tend to be pretty bad tippers. In fact, they don't tend to tip at all. So be aware of those little cultural things, not just in terms of not annoying the locals or indeed the authorities, but also making sure that those people working hard get what they deserve. Number seven is not attempting to speak any of the local language, certainly if it's not English. English is, of course, a very widely spoken language and is the default language of tourism, but not everybody speaks it. We've been to some places. Japan was quite difficult. Chile actually was not much English was spoken there. Certainly not as much as some of the other sort of tourist destinations. But make sure that you learn a few words. Hello, please, thank you, goodbye, all that sort of stuff. An easy one for me is two beers. Nibiru in Japanese, or dotheveth, or whatever it is. Those little things do help because it shows you are making the effort. Of course, they will often answer you in English, so that's all fine, but at least you've made the gesture in the first place. Number eight is not attempting to try any of the local food. It's easy for us to get into our comfort zone when it comes to food, but part of the joy of traveling is trying new and different things. And I found that, the more I've traveled, the better I've got at trying new things and actually even adapting some of it into my own home cooking, which is fun. So, not this is home cooking, but as an example, Southeast Asia, if anyone's been to Southeast Asia, you will be aware of a fruit called a durian, which absolutely stinks. Coupled with, if you're near a market with like fish sauce and other sort of smells, it probably makes one of the rankest smells ever. However, it actually tasted really nice, and I was glad I tasted it. It's like, that's a very unique sort of flavour, and it actually tastes nothing like it smells. Likewise, if we went Bangkok, well, grasshopper. Okay, let's try grasshopper. It's like little pork scratchings, deep fat fried. It was nice. And then we go to so many different places where we've been able to try different things, new things, and experiment. So please do try the local food. You never know, you might enjoy it. Number nine is try to avoid politics or controversial subjects when you're talking to people. I know where we've been to different places of the world at certain times. In fact, we're going to Colorado just before the US election, 2024 election. And I'm not going to go there and start waxing lyrical about the US elections or anything like that, or my preferred political candidate. I found in the UK as well, controversial issues like Brexit. Don't go and talk politics. Don't preach politics. Just try and stay as neutral as you can, and don't hector people and lecture people on certainly their own local politics, because that can be a real bugbear and can make people quite angry and upset with you. And number 10 is generally to just avoid being rude, mean, or unkind to people when you're traveling. Traveling is a luxury that not many people get to enjoy. And I know it can cost a lot of money, but it's something that you need to be able to appreciate. And people out there are generally good people. So try to make sure that you're making the most of your holiday and, in a way, almost being an ambassador. I like to be as friendly as I can because I'm a friendly guy, but also the fact that some people might think, oh, those Brits are really rude and mean. And actually, that's one thing I'll say for certainly lots of the places we go that I found that a lot of people say, "Oh, I love the Brits. They've got good sense of humour and all that." So it's probably not fair to say this, and it is a generalization, but you're kind of almost an ambassador. So if there's tends to be a pattern of people from a certain place being rude, that's the vibe they tend to give off. So show your best qualities and enjoy your holiday and be nice to people. Until the next time, ta ta.